Good morning. My name is Sally Myers, and I'm a transplant from the Los Angeles Archdiocese, where I served for many years as a pastoral associate. And I'm here this morning to invite you, every one of you sitting here, to be an active participant, not only in the liturgy, but also in parish life. And when you go out into the connector these next couple of weeks, you will find all kinds of opportunities for you to be involved. There's service ministries, there's catechetical ministries, there's worship ministries, and each one is open to you according to the gifts that you feel you have. And I know you're all very busy with family life and family routines and schedules, but that's the nice thing about being here at Epiphany, because many of these opportunities will fit very perfectly into your schedule. But you will have to make the choice. And it's just like belonging to any other organization. If you're going to be happy in it, you have to participate. You have to find your space, your role. And so I'm inviting you today to think, to pray, and then to act on what is your role as far as stewardship goes in Epiphany Catholic Parish.
What that means to you.
Well, stewardship is a way for us to give back to the community, either with our time, our talents, or our treasure. So we can participate to different events, and by doing that, it helps enrich us as well, because we're giving back to a community, and yet we're benefiting from us giving to the community. And it's just part of what it is being Catholic, in my opinion.
Thank you very much.
For me, it all has to do with service. It has to do with serving the Lord, following His commandments, to be available to those who need it. To me, this parish is a service parish. It is a wonderful parish. And I look around at the beautiful setting. I look around at the priests that we've had. I look at all of the parishioners and all the blessings that we've been given through the years. And to me, it's just the least I can do is to try to give back to the community at large. And I can do that the best I feel through service, through St. Vincent de Paul, through being a communion minister, an usher, you name it. I think I've done them all through the years. And to me, again, it has to do with service.
Well, stewardship as a way of life kind of changes in the decades, in my life at least. And I think it changes for all of us depending on our responsibilities at the time. My early days in the church, it was about education and formation for kids and things like that. But as I've gotten older and come more close to that eternal life, it's changed quite a bit in the past few decades. And I guess right now, it's different for everybody, but for me, it's more of an involvement within the church itself, both monetarily, but also in leadership and really service. So I put a great deal of emphasis on that now, more than I have in the past. But it's like the homily today. I started a foundation of formation and things in my life, and I've slowly built up to where I'm trying to get at the top of the tower. And so it's different for me today than it was 10 years ago, but I encourage everybody to look inside their lives and respond accordingly.
Involved in Epiphany Stewardship because I'm a new mom and I need a community. And so I got together with Sheila to create the New Parent Social because that is my life. I am a new parent and I need that community. And so I have made friends and my child has made friends, and it is an important part of stewardship to be part of a community and do things together and have that support.
Well, I've often said to every person, a lot has been given, much will be expected. So really everything I have, I really try to turn that over to the Lord in terms of, as best I can, in terms of my service, in terms of my resources as far as monetary. And this is an aside, I do a lot of sewing and collecting of goods to take to other people. And I tell Charlie, I said, this is God's garage, because everything we have, really, we want to try to put it to the best of service to others. And it's given me a lot of joy. Not that I'm looking for payback, I'm not, but I have been given many blessings that I'm truly, truly thankful for. So it's been a joy to discover that in my life.
Stewardship is our response to Jesus' call, come follow me. And just like the apostles abandoned their nets to follow Jesus, we offer our time and our talent to embrace other people and their needs and put them over our own. And in that process, we grow in understanding and compassion. And in thinking about it, it all begins with a recognition and a gratitude that everything we have and everything we are comes from God. And through stewardship, we learn to see Christ and find Christ in unexpected times and places and persons. And in service, my faith comes alive and my life has deeper meaning.
Corporal works of mercy. And Epiphany responds to every one of those 7 values. And so that's kind of what stewardship means to me, like feeding the hungry. We have the Hope Village, we have our food banks with pantries that we supply. Give drink to the thirsty. That to me is a broader term. People are thirsting for a lot of things besides water. And something recently that the church has is the morning coffees after the daily mass. And that has just really bloomed into something very nice. Shelter the homeless. The Eucharistic ministers go out and visit the homebound. They take flowers with them. We have flowers that people can pick up if we've made them, and they can take them to their neighbors. It's been a great outreach recently. Visit the prisoners. Bury the dead. That, of course, is something we really do a good job of here. And I really don't think of it as bereavement. I think of it as a celebration of life.
Hi, my name is Lynn Wilt. I have the privilege of being a member of Epiphany for about 5 to 6 years. And right now what I do for stewardship in my life since retirement is to work on a bereavement committee. There are 2 of them, and I'm privileged to be on one of the teams. And I also work in the parish office. I volunteer to answer phones, stuff bulletins, that type of thing on Thursdays for a couple of hours. In addition, I work at Eastern Area Community Ministries. I volunteer there on Tuesdays and help in with answering phones, doing filing and data entry. So I find that it's important in my life to be able to give back.
When I think about stewardship as a way of life, I also think about our traditional time, talent, and treasure categories of stewardship, and I'm fortunate enough to serve on our Epiphany 10% committee, which really touches all 3 parts of stewardship as a way of life: time, talent, and treasure. And I think it's one that our parishioners may not know as much about as they could. The money that Epiphany gets from stewardship helps us to do the work together, sharing our talents and our time with those in our community, locally, in the region, in the state, and nationally and sometimes internationally through our work with the 10% Committee. We fund things locally like Eastern Area Community Ministries to help them with their work, with those in need, with our St. Vincent de Paul, with the habitat builds that we do. But we also have things that are for the needs of folks that request help from us in the grants, maybe $1,000 or $1,500 that comes from what Epiphany takes in from our parishioners. And it's been a commitment, a long, long time commitment of the parish to give back to our community as a way of living our mission of social responsibility and generosity to those in need around our communities and in the world. And so we receive applications for small grants that are for organizations that are typically smaller and not going to get the big national endowments or the national donations that you think of, but rather small groups that are doing a world of good. And I like to think about it much like you put a pebble in a pond and you see ripples go out from that. Well, think of that pebble as a coin in this case, where we're putting the money that we receive through the 10% allocation from the parish to help organizations both near and far to help those in need. And the committee is always amazed with what these groups do. They make a little amount of money go a very, very long way. And that's the ripple effect reaching the shores of people that you may not even know. But what you're doing is helping our stewardship really breathe life into some of these projects and communities and help people in ways that we maybe don't always see, but it's part of what we as a community are committed to do. And so for me, that's part of how living stewardship really takes hold and how we can affect the world in a positive way